Hello, I am broadcasting to you on St. Patrick's Day, the day when all Irish citizens are obliged by law to wear a stupid hat to fool the tourists. Yeah, but there's no tourists here, so I'm just going to take off my hat, even though it is against the law. Hold on there now. Is my hair all right? Yes, hello. It's St. Patrick's Day where I am, and you've got me at a good time because I am between cold sores. I seem to be operating a one in, one out policy at the minute. So one is just departing where another one is just burgeoning up underneath. And I'm going to tell you something nice first, and then I'll get on to the whinging. Right, Teddy and Hannah have this fantastic double act going at the minute, where like Hannah sits on the kitchen floor and she's very low down on the kitchen floor, right? And Teddy arrives in and he is looking like Marvelous Marjo the Magical. And he comes in and he's sort of wearing a cape in my imagination and stripy trousers and madjokes. And he goes, Hannah, up! And then Hannah, down on the floor, starts getting to her feet and she's up and she's coming and she's nearly upright. And you know those really those weightlifters that are lifting the really heavy things in the Olympics and that, and they're standing and they're holding the yoke, but their legs are shaking. Hannah's like that, except she's not lifting a yoke. And she's standing there with her legs wide and her legs shaking, and she's been so brave and so compliant. And then she applauds herself. And it's just so lovely. And that makes me very happy at the minute. I will now commence my whinging. I am... how would you call it? I'm very, 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 very tired. I have not been sleeping properly. I have been working in the middle of the night, which is not like me. I am so mortified by how long it's taken me to finish this book. The last time a book was this, how would you call it, tricky, unmanageable, was This Charming Man, which was a long time ago. But in many ways, they're similar. I mean, they're not, the characters aren't similar, the themes aren't similar, but structurally, they were both sort of three big stories, and, you know, a lot of kind of interweaving has to go on, like, especially towards the end of the book. And somebody I trust a lot read it for me during the week and humbled the living daylights out of me, basically. And she's right. I mean, structurally, so basically I'm having to take huge chunks of information that are happening towards the end of the book and break them up into smaller bits and drop them at appropriate points during the earlier parts of the book, so that information is given, but that you, the reader, you're not alerted to what actually happens in the final shakedown, if you will. And I know that this is very frustrating to hear if you are not a writer, because before I was a writer, I thought people sat down to write a book and they started at the beginning and they proceeded smoothly in a forward direction, pulling all the strands of the story together in exactly the right way, without breaking stride. They reached the middle of the book, backstory was been woven in seamlessly, and we're all still moving forward, and there's the end in sight. Hello. And we're just going to skate, you know, we're all on the downhill now. This is easy, lads. We're going to skate gently into the ending where it all ties up beautifully, and then we give it to our editor, and 2 weeks later it's on the shelves. And it's not like that, and it seems to be particularly not like that for me. I am a pain. Like, I thought I would write from the head with this book, if you know what I mean, that it would be kind of driven by structure, and it's not, because I can't do that, because I have to feel my way through what I'm writing, you know, and I have to feel, how would my character feel about this? Because you can't just have your characters doing this, that and the other if it's not congruent with who they are. And this is just my way of writing a book. But do I have to make such heavy weather of it? Do I have to make such a song and feckin' dance about the whole feckin' business? I mean, clearly I do, and I wish I was different, and I have huge amounts of shame. But also, I suppose, my head is very foggy. It's 3 months since Dad died. It was 3 months on Friday. And, you know, people sort of act like after 10 days, you're grand. You're grand now. Grand, we don't mention it anymore, grand. Nobody, you know, it's just, I never did until a parent died. I never understood how people were really kind of smashed or, you know, kind of flattened, that's the word by it, kind of, and that your head flies off in all kinds of mad directions. Like, as I said earlier, my sleep, like, you know, I have actually been behaving like, you know, a writer out of a Hallmark film, in that I have actually been getting up in the middle of the night to write, but not in a beautiful, I'm full of inspiration way. It's like a manic terror of, I have to finish this feckin' thing will be the feckin' death of me. And I feel like I'm down in a really narrow path between two enormous canyons of granite, and I'm way down there, and the path is really narrow and rocky, and if I go back I have to go 7,800 miles back over the rocky narrow path that way, and I'm going forward, but I don't know how much further over the narrow rocks there is in front of me. And then I can't go up the sides because they're made of granite and they're all smooth, and I am not Alex, what's his name, Honnold. Did you see that film? Don't tell me, hold on. It's called something Solo. Free Solo. Thank you, he's good at that. Free Solo, that was a great film. That's about this lad that himself actually bumped into up a giant hill in Kenya. And he climbs up mad hills without any ropes or anything, only an old bag of powder, talc. A bag of talc is all he needs climbing up them giant hills. Hang on, I have to check. Isn't it all he needs, a bag of talc?
Chalk, technically.
Chalk! Sorry, chalk, not talc. I think it's talc. It's fragranced talc that he stole off his mammy. It was in a little roundy box with a lovely pink puff. It's one of those olden perfumes by Elizabeth Arden, and so he secreted the box and he took the puff because he didn't want to leave any evidence, and so he gave the puff to his girlfriend, who I have severe doubts about. If you've seen the film you'll know what I mean, and then he went off with the lovely pink smelly talc and put it in a little bag, and then he went up the hill. It's talc. Anyway, I am tired, I am whinging, I am, you know, but you look at, you know what, I saw my other niece Emma. We had a sleepover last night, Saturday, and I was worried about it because, you know, we weren't going to be at home, and because my sleep is so bad, and we were going to be sharing a room, but it was absolutely lovely. You know, sometimes it's best to just walk away from something for a while. And she is so entertaining and so lovely. And when I dropped her off just now, she said to me, and I was looking at her and I was thinking, me and you, Emma, our souls are aligned. And she said, Marlena, because that's what she calls me, she goes, it's a cheesy thing to say, but you know, I feel you and me, our souls are connected. And that was very nice, you know. Like, I'm sorry, I'm very tired and I'm a bit not grounded. But one other thing, we were in town, you see, we had booked this ages ago, and not realising that it was the night before St. Patrick's Day, and we were staying in a hotel in town, and we thought, Christ alive, we won't get a feckin' ounce of sleep because of, you know, the revelries and the poor tourists looking for the crack. But actually I had the best night's sleep I've had in ages. She's very calming. Not that you're not calming to also himself, he's very calming too, he's great. But it was just nice. Sometimes you need to walk away from your narrow path through the canyon. You need to put down your little bag of fragrance talc and try something different. I hope you're well. I'm glad today that the weather is nice for the poor tourists for the parade. You know, I feel so badly for them. Why could we not have had our National Day? I was going to say in August, but you look at, it could be snowing in August in Ireland, and it could most certainly be thunderstorming. So I suppose it doesn't make much difference really. I hope you're well. I have nothing to tell you. I am in my canyon. I haven't watched any shows. Nina Stibbe's book is out in a couple of weeks. It is fantastic. It is called Reasons to be Cheerful. And I read a book by Hazel Gaynor. Now, it's not out till the summer, but you could read others of her books. I enjoyed it so much. it was a day that I was really tired, and I got into bed, and it's called Meet Me in Monaco, and it's about Princess Grace, and it's a love story. It's not really about her, it's about people around her, and it was just very calming on my nerves, and it was just, nothing terrible happened to anyone really in it, and it was sweet, and it was nice. It was about nice people, and made me feel better, is what I'm trying to say. So she's a nice writer if you're looking for somebody new. Hazel Gaynor. Happy St. Patrick's Day, if it is St. Patrick's Day where you are, and I will be talking to you next Monday, where hopefully I will be in a better state of mind. Adios, mind yourselves, talk to you soon. Mwah. Slán, that's what we say here, slán.